Washington Examiner, 1 in 3 pass U.S. citizenship test. Just 19%.
1 in 3 so-called U.S. citizens pass the test is what you're saying.
Right. This is the headline, Ian. Just 19% for Americans 45 and younger. Just a third of Americans can pass a multiple-choice U.S. citizenship test. There's only 4 possible answers, and one of them is usually ludicrous.
Okay.
So more or less it's 3. But then again, some people don't know what ludicrous is either when you look at these things. So fumbling over such questions as the cause of the Cold War or naming just one thing Benjamin Franklin is famous for. And of 40 Americans 45 and younger, the passing rate is a tiny 19%, according to a survey done for the Woodrow Wilson National Fellowship Foundation. Worse, the actual test only requires that 60% of the answers be correct in the survey, and just 36% of Americans passed. Among the embarrassing errors uncovered in the survey of questions taken from U.S. citizenship tests conducted by the Lincoln Park Strategies, 72% of respondents either incorrectly identified or were unsure of which states were part of the 13 original states. That can get tough if it's like Vermont.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't one of the originals, right?
See, you don't know either.
Didn't it break off of Massachusetts or something like that?
It broke off of there was an argument between New York and New Hampshire as to whether or not Vermont was its own territory. Okay. And it became its own republic, but was the 14th state.
Huh.
So there you go. Anyway, 24%.
Yeah, history class was boring in government school, so I don't know a whole lot about it.
It's fine. I don't think you're qualified to vote anyway. 24% of could correctly identify one thing that Benjamin Franklin was famous for. So they couldn't say lightning and kites. I mean, seriously, folks. Benjamin Franklin's probably the most important person in American history, more important than George Washington. Now,
why?
Somebody's shaking their fist. Because it was the Enlightenment era, the United States Constitution, the Articles of Confederation, the whole idea of ruling yourself, all of these things came out of the Enlightenment era. Benjamin Franklin, actually a thinker, as opposed to many of the Founding Fathers, which were just sort of, people doing people things. But Benjamin Franklin was he's a real genius. Anyway, 12% incorrectly thought World War II General Dwight Eisenhower led troops into the Civil War.
Even I would have known that wasn't true.
I know you would, buddy. 2% said the Cold War was caused by climate change.
It would be Robert E. Lee and Ulysses S. Grant for Civil War, right?
Those, if you were going to make the chessboard of the Civil War, those would be your kings, yes. Yeah. Sure. I mean, there's lots of other important commanders and generals and those sorts of things.
Lee was the southern commander and Grant was the northern, right?
Well, you get to stay in the country.
Yeah.
Congratulations. The foundation did the survey to make the point that Americans need to brush up on history and current events if they want to make a reasoned pick in the upcoming midterm congressional elections. With voters heading to the polls next month. Anyway, this is all just going on. Yeah, it's a little later. But this is the... I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that Americans are woefully unqualified to lead. The apocryphal story is that a woman asks Benjamin Franklin...
To lead what?
Themselves. A country. I mean, are we not the government?
No, we're definitely not the government.
Fine.
And
we vote for it.
You don't need to know. I mean, if you want to lead yourself, you certainly don't need to know anything about the government. Everybody leads themselves every single day. They make decisions for themselves. They go to work. They take care of their kids. They, do whatever hobbies they're into. I mean, everybody's fine at leading themselves. It's when they try to tell other people what to do is when it's a problem.
You're leading your family too, and likely you're telling, you're guiding your family in how they should vote. And if you can't pass the citizenship exam, you probably shouldn't be doing that either. Mm-hmm. It comes down to voting is, fundamentally participating in an act that forces other people to do things, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's what the government is.
Even if you're voting for smaller government, you're forcing people to not do things to you.
Right. You're forcing your view of, leave me aloneism on other people.
Right, which is fine. Then they can go about finding other ways besides using the state as an organization to get their will done. I don't see a problem with using the government, with voting, and using the government as a way to, limit itself. That's the idea. But if we're going to allow Americans to vote, it seems to me there should be some kind of criteria to do that. For every genius out there, for every Benjamin Franklin, for every skilled voter, person who's paying close attention, a person who listens to talk radio, the chances are our audience is significantly higher than the folks here. They're listening to other radio stations and doing other things, playing Candy Crush or listening to sports talk or country music or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
It would seem to me that our audience is significantly more qualified. But I mean, does this irk you like it irks me? There's something out there called
the listener.
Yeah, you the listener. There's something out there called a low information voter. Both parties are very aware of it. This is the terminology that's used.
Wouldn't the supermajority of voters be low information voters?
No, that would define the definition. That would defy the definition of low information.
I don't understand.
Well, just because you don't know who you're representing, like the percentage of people who are listening and anywhere that can name their rep and their senators.
U.S.?
Their one U.S. rep and their 2 U.S. senators is very, very low.
It would be a challenge for me to do it.
Single digits.
And I'm a talk show host.
Right. I'm sure I can name some names of some people, but they change,
Yeah, here in New Hampshire, they change every couple of years. Well, I guess senators is what, every 6?
Yeah, it stays the same for the whole country, buddy.
I see.
It's 6 or 2. And that's something you need to know. If you're going to vote for this particular office, you should have some idea of what you're voting for before you go in there and mark all Democrat or all Republican or even all Libertarian.
But isn't that sort of the definition of a low information voter, somebody that just goes in and marks all of one party?
It's not the definition. No. I mean, somebody could choose to be a column party voter, but still know about things.
That's true.
Right? Do you think Rush Limbaugh votes for a lot of Democrats? I mean, he's certainly well informed.
Seems unlikely.
Yeah. So, just because you have a particular party or opinion on it doesn't mean that you're low information.
That's true.
I do think.
But how many people vote straight ticket who have a lot of information versus how many of them are just ignorantly going in and just pulling a lever for the Republicans or for the Democrats?
I think by and large you're dealing with a situation of voting for a crappy option. You're picking between crappy options. Right? Like when you're going to the polls here in the United States of America, you're like, oh, well, I don't particularly like this candidate, but man, oh man, that one over there is awful.
Trump and Hillary.
That's a really good example.
Yeah.
On both parties, the least liked candidate, and they take polls on this stuff. The least liked candidate from both parties is the one who got the nomination. That's not
your
just
system.
Yeah, that's an indication of a broken system.
Yeah. Well, so there's more to come here. Your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Did you have a question for the...
Yeah, does this irk you as much as it irks me?
The fact that people can't pass this test, 1 out of 3 can pass it.
Or is it not a big deal?
1 out of 3 can get 6 right, basically, out of 10.
Right.
We're coming up.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
When do you want to spot that burglar? When he's casing your home or after he's already in? Ask John, whose Blink camera alerted him of burglars trying to break in while his family was home. Or Shannon, whose Blink camera caught a package thief. Blink motion-activated cameras are wire-free, set up in minutes, and run on 2 AA batteries that last up to 2 years. Save a whopping 40% off all outdoor XT and add-on cameras through December 22nd while supplies last. Visit blinkprotect.com/holiday. blinkprotect.com/holiday.
Free Talk Live.
The heavy-handed language that you're speaking out against the government is, I never heard anything like this on the radio.
When the founding fathers decided that the government of England was no longer servicing their needs, they stopped paying their taxes first.
Don't you drive on the roads? Aren't you glad you're defended from the foreigners?
Sir, they stole this man's property.
The foreigners are coming to get me.
Yeah, they stole these. These aren't foreigners I need to be defended from. It's these people down the street calling themselves government that are willing to steal my property from me and burn my house to the ground, which is what they did to this man.
It's not yours. The government owns it.
Really? Are you telling me, sir, that every one of us are actually serfs? We're actually subjects and slaves to the state? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, if it sounds good to you...
No, that doesn't sound good. I don't accept it. I'm a free man.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and it's the live Saturday edition of the program. You dial toll-free to join us here on the radio. Take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE. We're talking about the expectedly, I would say, dismal results of a recent survey of Americans who took this citizenship test. Now, we're talking about people who are purportedly already citizens, like by birthright.
Sure.
So, how many of them passed it? 1 out of 3, roughly. And apparently that's if you don't account for demographics of age. And if you look at young people, it was 1 out of 5.
That's correct.
Who actually passed this. And so you got a little bit more from that. We're going to also take your calls and thoughts here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. And I do want you to know about the Blink home security system. When do you want to spot that burglar? Is it when he's casing your home or after he's in? Ask John, whose Blink camera alerted him of burglars trying to break in while he and his family were home. Or Shannon, whose Blink camera caught a thief stealing packages. Both times, Blink video clips were sent to police to help convict the crooks. Blink motion-activated indoor and outdoor cameras are wire-free, set up in minutes, and they run on 2 AA batteries that last up to 2 years. If you're traveling over the holidays, Blink's live feed option lets you monitor your home and check in on your pets from anywhere using the Blink smartphone app. No contracts, no subscriptions, totally affordable, and Blink works with Alexa. Blink camera systems make great holiday gifts, and they're a brilliant way to monitor holiday package deliveries. Save up to a whopping 40% off of all outdoor XT and add-on cameras through December 22nd while supplies last. Visit blinkprotect.com/holiday to get the deals. That's blinkprotect.com/holiday. Blink is an Amazon company. Let's go to Larry. He's on the line in Indianapolis listening to WIBC. Hello, Larry.
The first thing I would say is that anybody who watched the protocol of the funeral with George H. Bush, I'm not talking about him. but I'm talking about that was a beautiful display of America, our military, our iconic building.
It sounds disgusting to me.
No, how beautiful the state capitol is. How beautiful our national
It's all just monuments to violence. It's monuments to killers.
It's beautiful. No, it's beautiful, and I think that the only reason it gets that way is because we neglect to keep our politicians in line. We vote
How do you
for them.
How do you do that? How do you keep them in line?
But by being in their face every time, and by the citizenry.
Why would they care if you were in their face? They'll just call the police down and get you out of their face.
Well, they'll stop doing it once you have some insurrection to put them back on the right
track. Now, what kind of insurrection are you talking about? Are you talking about like in France?
I'm talking about violence like they're doing in France right now.
Okay.
But listen, on your point about the test and so forth, no one is going to retain that kind of information when you can go to Google and find it out right away. The only reason they didn't do good on those tests is they didn't have their Google machine right by their side.
Sure.
But I'm just going to say again that if we knew what America, not a politician, America is beautiful, and we should love it, and we should care enough to keep our politicians.
When you say
line,
America's beautiful, Larry, do you mean the country, like the land and the people, or do you mean the government?
I mean our traditions, our lands, our officers and armies and so forth. That's all us. We're a member of this great nation, and we should cherish it. And we don't cherish it. We always try to find faults in America. But if America does not exist, we do not exist.
If you don't find the faults, Larry, you can't get better. I mean, like, people pointing out faults in any given system are heroes.
Well, you're doing that too, Larry. I mean, you're finding fault, but at the same time talking out of the other side of your mouth saying how great America is.
That kind of change, but seeing how great and how beautiful, even as a black man, that if he stays in his place, can rise to perfection in this country, and he can do that nowhere else on this earth. And let me tell you, I will defend America with my life and everything else I have to make sure that it still exists and that I exist. And even the people who hate America and live here and benefit from it, they need to check their state of mind, because America is beautiful, not the politicians, but the concept and the actual existence of this great nation, and we should be proud of it. I am.
What I find, Larry, is that the politicians benefit greatly from patriotism, is what we're talking about here, right? Just the
only because we let them do it. Well, only because if you had a situation where you had your politicians, every time they come to their home, you're right there with them. Every time they come to your office, you're right there with them. You're in their office in Washington. The people just don't know how powerful they are.
Most people have better things to do than follow around politicians all the time.
Then they pay a lobbyist to do it. You could pay pennies on the dollar to hire somebody or some group of people to be right in their face on a state and local level, but you're going to be a cheapskate. America is about the amount. That's what it's about, and we have to understand that.
Okay, so America's beautiful, but it's all about the politicians are bad.
It's about the amount, and that's what it's always
the amount of money. You mean the amount of money?
No, the amount of anything. I'm not talking about money. I'm just talking about the amount of people that hold their politicians accountable. The amount of people that are there.
It's hard, though. Let me tell you. I mean, Larry, we had a situation here in Keene, New Hampshire, and thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate it. We had a situation here in Keene, New Hampshire, where the Keene government wanted to get a Bearcat, which is basically an armored personnel carrier. They can mount a 50 cal to the top and have gas injectors.
The federal government gives these out free to local communities so that they can use them when they feel like it.
Well, they're not free. The taxpayers are paying for them, but the local community receives them without having to pay up front for the unit. Then the local community then has to pay for all the upkeep and the repair and that kind of thing.
Right. It goes on. It goes in the United States government. It goes into its debt, and the debt is then passed on to our grandchildren and our great grandchildren. We're still paying on debt that came from the American Civil War.
But I bring it up because what happened in that circumstance was there was actually an unusual number of people who did get active and got in their politicians' faces, as Larry was pointing out. There were a couple hundred people who packed the city council chambers here in Keene. Keene's not a big city. The chambers were standing room only, to the point where if you came late to the meeting, you had to stand downstairs and wait as the fire marshal was counting people. If somebody would leave the meeting room, then he'd let somebody else in. So if you were late, you had to wait downstairs until somebody happened to leave. So it was that popular of a meeting. And prior to that, there were people calling their representatives. There were people writing to them. There were letters to the editor. There was petitions that were being signed against. Everybody was against this thing.
I even held a Bearcat buyback program. I had a Walmart gift card, and I would exchange any politician that brought me a Bearcat. I'd give them a Walmart gift card, just like they do with the when they try to disarm the citizens. They give you a Walmart gift card or whatever. I was doing the same with Bearcats, and no politicians brought any Bearcats to be bought back.
But my point is, even though it was overwhelming, it was 90%. The politicians said that 90% of the contacts they received were against this Bearcat. What'd they do? They voted for it anyway.
They voted for it. Because in this great nation, the politicians don't listen. They use patriotism as cover. And at some point or another, we're going to have to see that. Governments are service organizations. Monopoly service organizations, but nonetheless, it's a service organization. And they should be treated that way.
All right.
They don't deserve deference.
Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. This is Free Talk Live's live Saturday show.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in here toll free. Bring up anything that you want. Our number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Live Saturday show with you tonight. Here it's Ian.
And Mark.
And also want to make sure you know about Bitcoin.com. Right now, Bitcoin, it's back down to basically September of 2017 prices. Some would say it's on sale. It's around $3,200, I think, $3,300 per Bitcoin today, and that means it's probably a good time to start looking into it. If you've been putting it off, and you know you've heard about Bitcoin, you've been thinking maybe I should learn a thing or two about it, but it's too expensive. Well, now it's a fraction of what it was just 1 month ago. In fact,
right.
It's almost half.
You wanted Bitcoin on sale, it's on sale.
Yeah, it's about half off of what it was 1 month ago. And then you compare it to a year ago, and it's way down compared to that. But overall, it's still up if you compare it to what it was when it started, which was nothing. And then went up a little bit from nothing.
No, it's still even if you take its 5-year performance, it's still the best performing asset over 10 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of, very interesting numbers that you can throw out about.
Right. It's only down if you look on the short term.
It shouldn't be looked at as an asset. It should be looked at what it is, which is a it's a currency.
Well, it's both.
It's intended. Yeah, it can be certainly. Yeah. It functions as both.
Yeah.
But it was intended. It was created as a currency. It was used as an asset, and I think that
any currency that could accumulate value instead of losing it is going to be an asset to people, right? It has the potential to grow in value. Unlike government money, of course, which that's all being inflated. Just the question is how quickly are the various governments inflating their currencies? So the odds that any of those are ever going to go up in value are
the world
very slim.
didn't need a digital commodity. Right? We didn't it didn't make the world a better place by just saying, ta-da, now we have gold on the internet. Right? Like that's not worth anything. However, what the world does need is the ability to move money from one location to another very cheaply.
Correct.
Currently, it's very expensive. Secondly, what the world needs is the ability to move money from one location to the next without a government interfering.
Or banks.
So, for instance, I can send money to some poor person in a war-torn country right now, as long as they've got access to the internet, and they can have that money. And there's nothing that Syria, North Korea, Zimbabwe, or wherever can do to stop it.
Or the U.S. government, for that matter. So go to Bitcoin.com. That's a great site to go and get started on your journey into the world of cryptocurrency, because we're just a decade into this, and it's still early. If you think about the history of money, a decade is nothing in the history of money. So even though it seems expensive right now, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can get a fraction of a Bitcoin. You can buy $20 worth of a Bitcoin. So learn more over at Bitcoin.com. They got the Bitcoin.com Academy there where you can get started. Once again, Bitcoin.com. Let's go to Marcy in Indianapolis listening to WIBC FM. Go ahead, Marcy.
Hi, I just want to say kudos to you guys. I really appreciate your show, and thanks for being honest and just trying to wake some people up.
Yeah, my pleasure. Was there something particular that you wanted to comment on?
I see I'm frustrated. I'm a frustrated American. I love the idea of our country. I am a patriotic person, but I do get what you're saying about how politicians use patriotism as a cover, and they use it to manipulate people. who are good people. And
Sure.
It's really, really unfortunate. It's really sad. I was not a big Trump fan in the beginning, and I'm still, there's some things I really like about what he's doing, and there's some things that I'm not real happy about. But
what do you like? Give us an example of a shining example of what he's doing that you like.
I really liked the tax cut. I think that, it helped us. We're a 2-income family. We still have kids at home. It really did help us. So I appreciated that.
Now,
same here.
Did spending get cut as well at the same time?
That would have been nice, huh? If spending got cut the same level.
Did it get cut at all?
No. At this point, I don't have any evidence that spending's been cut.
Oh, I'm not aware. I apologize. I don't know as far as my personal.
So this is kind of the classic
government.
This is kind of the classic Republican method of acting, right? Like they will give a tax cut, but they won't cut the spending of the government, meaning that you benefit immediately from the tax cut, and so it's a win for you. But they're just kicking the can down the road. They're still going to try to collect that later on, right? If they're spending it, they got to get it somehow.
I totally agree with you. We have to be responsible. We cannot kick the can down the road. So, there are going to have to be some cuts. And I totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the middle class people, it's like we are just, I don't know, it just seems like we're the ones, they're working our butts off. And all I see is, a lot of money that goes out every time I get paid.
Yeah.
And things keep going up. And it's just really a struggle. And I'd love to be able to have time to go lobby and get in people's faces. And I would love that. But
nobody's got time for that.
It's not designed for you to be able to do that.
Right.
That's not what.
No, it's not.
Right. If you're going to build a system,
travel to D.C. and then
right. I'm not saying that the founding fathers put together a system that was intended so that people, wouldn't be able to get actual representation from their government. I think that they worked within the constraints of a 18th century system where people got around on horses and pooped in holes in the ground. But, now that same document that existed still supposedly runs the government. And what we can see is, we got 240 years of a nation at this point. If it wasn't designed that way, somebody's added some tweaks along the way so that we don't have any kind of redress of grievances. The First Amendment is very clear. We get redress of grievances.
Oh, no, they said you can redress your grievances. You just there was a Supreme Court case, about a decade ago, I think, maybe a little more than a decade ago about this, where some organization, sort of like a Know Your Rights group or whatever, went and petitioned to redress their grievances. And the Supreme Court ended up taking the case, and they ruled and said, well, you can send us your grievances. You send the government your grievances, but that doesn't mean that we have to do anything with them. So they don't actually have to say anything.
That's the thing as an American citizen that troubles me is, we've got people in power. If they want to, if they just one day decide they want to, enact martial law, we're screwed. And, the people don't think about those things or the grid, and taking care of themselves and trying to, to the best of their ability to be as self-sufficient and independent as possible and not, depending on, everything from the government. I work in a 501c3 not-for-profit, and I see it every day. I work in a shelter, and I really am happy to help people, but I see the attitude of people. They just expect the government to take care of them.
Sure.
And
entitlement mentality.
Exactly. And I try so hard as an advocate, because I'm a victim advocate at a domestic violence shelter, and I try so hard to educate and teach people that, we have to be the ones to take responsibility. If we make a poor choice and we're dealing with the consequences, then we have to learn from that, and we have to, pull ourselves up and we need to, go get a job. And there's so many people that I deal with that just don't want to go get a job.
It's frustrating. You're right, Marcy. Thank you for the call. Great call. I really do appreciate hearing from you. And I can't really disagree with much of what she said there at the end. The government loves to take on responsibility. They would love for you to just give up a bunch of responsibility to them and let them go ahead and just cut you a check every single month where you do what they say, and then you'll get a check and just don't rock the boat. In fact, there's some people who are even talking about giving everybody a check now with this so-called universal basic income. So if you thought it was bad right now, where some people who are on welfare are getting checks. Well, now, what if every American starts getting a check from the government?
Domesticated beasts. That's what they'd be.
Yeah. There's more coming up here in moments. 855, 450, free like freedom. Thank you, Marcy. Appreciate that. We'll take your calls and thoughts about anything you want on Free Talk Live.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry MyPillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose.
And here's Mike's best offer ever. MyPillow is now offering 50% off their 4-pack special plus free shipping. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-951-5617 and use promo code FTL. That's 50% off plus free shipping. Don't delay. Order now.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Do you need extra cash to buy gifts or just to pay all those extra bills during the holidays? Well, now you can get cash fast this holiday season with a personal loan for up to $5,000 right from your phone or PC at 79cash.com. How fast can you get your cash? Well, with 79cash.com, our lenders can have your cash at your bank account as soon as tomorrow, regardless of your credit history. Just have a checking account and a regular source of income. Go to 79cash.com and you can get the cash loan you need now. So if you need cash fast this holiday season to buy gifts or pay all those extra bills, go to 79cash.com and get the cash you need. Visit 79cash.com. Type www.79cash.com directly into the address bar. That's 79cash.com. 79cash.com. 79cash.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live Saturday edition of the program here. You can take control of the airwaves. We started out with a story about a dismal percentage of Americans who were able to pass the 6 out of 10 questions that are required to pass the citizenship test. So, what was it? About a third of Americans were able to actually pass this
36% of Americans
scored better than 5 out of 10. Basically, they got 6 out of 10 at least
could
correct.
pass the test, and that means 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Which is first, it's too low. That percentage is too low for passing, in my opinion. You should know some of these things in order to be.
You're saying you should be at 8 out of 10 or something like that.
Yeah, it should be higher than 6 out of 10. Sorry.
Yeah.
Second,
6 out of 10 would have been a D when I went to school. No, that would have been an F.
That is, 60% is an F.
Yeah.
Or 59% is an F. One of the two.
I think it was, at least when I was going to school, I think it was below 64%. It was an F.
Right. So A was 100 to 91.
Yeah.
B was 90 to 91, or 90 to 80, 81.
80 or something like that. 81.
Yeah. So basically, each zero was a new set. So 60% would have been an F.
Except down to 60. It was different later on.
But they want them to be become citizens, and they know that it's not. Well, somebody administering the test knows that 1 out of 3 Americans can't pass this test anyway. So what difference does it make if some foreigner, who's put in their time and done the paperwork or whatever, gets it, gets 60% and passes? What difference does it make?
My guess is the people that actually choose to take this test because they're immigrating probably pass it with a much greater percentage because they're studying
I'm
for
sure.
it.
I'm sure they do a lot better than
it's probably
Americans.
9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 or something like that who pass.
Yeah, and those are the people that they've chosen the country. They really they love it. They work hard, and obviously it's great. I think this one, so it's 13% of people those surveyed didn't know when the U.S. Constitution was ratified. But I think this is sort of a trick question. What's the answer, Ian?
Oh, it wasn't 1776.
Well, at the very least, you have now mentioned the date that everybody says.
Yeah.
So most people fall for 1776 because that's the date, the year of the Declaration of Independence being sent to King George and all that stuff. But the U.S. Constitution was 1789.
Was that much later, huh?
Yeah. The Articles of Confederation were in there too. You got to remember. So there was a fight, and then the Articles of Confederation and all that stuff. But more than half of respondents didn't know which countries the United States fought in World War II.
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
Japan and Germany.
60% of Americans don't know who the United States, by the way, was Italy also.
Oh, Italy.
Yeah, Italy.
Oh, okay. You never hear about them.
No, I'm afraid that they haven't.
Mussolini, right?
They really haven't shown up. Since the Roman Empire, the Italians really don't show up to fight anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is. Swigging wine, I'm not exactly sure. Beautiful countryside, buxom women.
Yeah,
I don't know what's keeping them
here
from fighting.
I remember seeing, Mussolini in the history books, but that's, I don't remember ever. You don't see movies. He doesn't show up in movies about World War II very often, does he? It's usually about the Nazis.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have the pure personified evil of Hitler versus Mussolini's kind of wishy-washy socialism stuff that he's got.
Was Italy invading nearby countries? I don't even know anything about what they did.
There was some action of Italy and I believe it was East Africa, but certainly on the African continent.
Okay. Huh.
So, not doing much. He's just basically a demagogue. Yeah. No biggie. So, and despite the recent media spotlight on the Supreme Court, 57% of those who surveyed did not know how many justices actually serve on the nation's highest court. And this is another
9.
Right. Well, today, but it's changed.
Oh, has it?
Right. FDR decided, well, the Supreme Court isn't doing what I want, and this checks and balances thing annoys me. So he stacked the court. He just went and added more. Well,
they can just add more. The president can just add more to the Supreme Court.
I would need to check and see whether the Constitution has been amended, but I know that an amendment has been proposed to stop that from happening. But that, if it has not been amended, and I don't think it has, it should be. The Supreme Court should be a set number.
I don't think the Constitution's been amended in quite a long time.
It's been some time, but most Americans don't know the recent amendments, and including myself. I mean, they get really sort of murky. And
we talked about prohibition recently. It was the end of prohibition. Alcohol prohibition was this week. I think it was the 5th. I think that's the anniversary. 5th of December.
The one thing that I think about alcohol prohibition is, first, what's the United States federal government? What's the purpose? I mean, that's not in there. Well, if you amend the Constitution, then it is in the Constitution. But if they made cannabis illegal by passing a law.
Correct.
But they made alcohol illegal by passing an amendment.
Yeah, I just figured it was a lot easier to just pass a law.
Yeah,
I guess.
Thanks, first wave feminists. you got the ladies the vote, and alcohol became outlawed. Yeah, as a result. I wish we
Lips that touch alcohol shall never touch mine.
Right. Cigarettes and whiskey and wild, wild women. Right. The Temperance Singers. Very interesting stuff.
So if you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Our recent caller commenting, I think very astutely, on the fact that people are addicted to government, that they are getting hooked and losing their responsibility, and she was valuing the idea that people should be responsible for their lives, and I agree with that. Unfortunately, the more people the government gets hooked on their payments and their programs, the more difficult it is to pull people back into the realm of responsibility, because incentives matter. Incentives are very important to how people behave. People will say one thing, but if you change the incentives on them, they'll probably do another.
Right, and that's why I've given up on patriotism. The reason
patriotism meaning love for the government, or love
for the country. Like, look, the flags, the eagles. I like eagles. Right?
What's the difference between that and nationalism?
It's all the same thing. It's all, like people use these words interchangeably. You can go ahead and believe whatever you want. Let me give my explanation before you go, did you just say this terrible thing? Because that's what's important here. The reason, now, I, like many Americans, loved those Super Bowl shows with the F-18s flying over. I love those TV shows where they talk about, this great person or that great person in history. I'm a student of history, and there's many of the founding fathers that I respect greatly, and I can put their actions in historical context, and I get it. However, what I have found is that patriotism as this idea allows politicians to they skulk about, they do things while you're saying I love America. The politicians are doing what they want and destroying the country, whatever it might have meant at one point. I will say America was the greatest nation in the world at one point, at some point in my lifetime. However, it is slipping down the charts of economic and social freedom. There are other countries that are socially and economically more free than the United States. And if you believe freedom is what makes America what it should be, then then you got to look at facts. And patriotism, I would ask you this: what does it do? What is the benefit of it to you, to the citizenry as a whole? And best I can come up with is patriotism will allow us to get other people's kids to work for the United States military at a lower price than they would normally work for, right? So working for the military should be, you should get paid pretty well because you're potentially putting your life on the line, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, not all of them do, but yeah.
You're signing a document that says I will die for the whims of liars and thieves in Washington, D.C.
In so many words.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I mean, nobody's going to call in and dispute that. So if you're willing to do that, pay should be higher than, say, flipping burgers and deciding you don't want to come in today because you're sick or whatever, right? One would presume that somebody's giving a bit more when they sign up for the military.
Because they love their country, purportedly. They love freedom.
Now, when we look at those military contractors that we heard so much about when they were in Iraq and stuff, those guys were getting paid big bucks to do their jobs. Whereas
like Blackwater, Z.
So many of them, they were working alongside soldiers who were making a third or a quarter of what they were making. Now, I don't begrudge those guys their paychecks, mind you. I begrudge that we, as a nation, use patriotism to pay soldiers less to, and then, all this patriotism's flying around, and don't forget the vets that are left out in the cold, limbs blown off and
suicidal.
Well, according to the VA, who released statistics of 22 veterans a day that killed themselves.
That's current.
That's
current numbers.
That's a number that they released at one point. Yeah. I don't know how many veterans kill themselves. I wouldn't be able to say that, but that's what they say about them, their veterans. To me, I just can't see what patriotism does except make me feel good, and it does. I like it. It's still in there, people. I'm not saying it's not there. I'm just not gonna react to it, and I'm not gonna allow a politician to use it. But you get these pictures of them, wearing a suit and standing in front of the American flag. That's what they're doing. They're allowing your patriotism to run roughshod over you.
In 2016, this according to a story from Military Times. This came out in September of this year, but this is the most recent data they had, was 2016. Suicide rate for veterans was 1.5 times greater than for Americans who've never served in the military. There's more coming up here, and it's about 20 veterans a day, they say, take their own lives. More coming up.
Pain in my neck, back, and shoulders has really gotten worse.
Relief for body pain is here with Sunny Bay heating pads.
Well, the last thing I want is to take another pill, so what's so good about Sunny Bay heating pads?
Sunny Bay heating pads, made by Biomed DB Design right here in the USA, come in all sizes. Our extra large microwavable heating pad for back pain is designed to be large enough to cover your entire back. It's also perfect to wrap around your legs, knees, or shoulder and neck.
But I need to know they're good quality.
Of course, Sunny Bay heating pads and pillows are often an Amazon choice, and it's easy and most affordable when you purchase your Sunny Bay heating pads right from our website, sunshinepillows.com, or call us 253-678-1361.
Hey, a Sunny Bay heating pad
would make a great gift, right?
Yes, and they start at just $19.99 and free shipping is available. So call 253-678-1361 or shop for your Sunny Bay heating pad at sunshinepillows.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of December 7th through the 9th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.48 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,240 per ounce. Zen is trading at $5, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,408. Antiwar.com reports Yemen's high-profile peace talks in Sweden are set to open, but already look to be on the brink of collapse, with both sides lashing out at one another and Houthi officials openly questioning whether the talks are even serious and worth pursuing. The big stumbling block is that, having finally gotten both sides to the table to discuss a settlement of the multi-year war, the pro-Saudi Hadi government reiterated the same demands they had at the start of the war, insisting that the Houthis unconditionally disarm and cede the city of Hodeidah to them. The Houthis are being a bit more modest in their goals, focusing on trying to get the Sana'a International Airport reopened to civilian traffic. They'd also like Hodeidah to remain open to aid, though that's a matter the UN is already pushing hard for without them. Though every side went into these talks expressing support for a peace process that would end the war, the Hadi government has continued to make it clear their demands are an unconditional victory, and as ever, that is putting a roadblock in front of serious efforts to start making a permanent deal. In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. UPI reports dozens of college campuses suddenly closed without notice this week after parent company Education Corporation of America lost its accreditation and funding. The closing affects 75 campuses across the country, including Brightwood College, Brightwood Career Institute, Ecotech Institute, Gulf Academy of America, and Virginia College. The ECA announced that operations would be discontinued in December of 2018. Information about transferring, getting a transcript, and other general questions will be posted to the site around December 17th. The colleges serve at least 20,000 students, making it one of the largest for-profit colleges in the country. Enrollment has been declining for years, forcing the troubled chain to close one-third of its campuses and pursue a financial overhaul in the courts, but creditors would not relent as ECA fell behind on payments. On Tuesday, the Accrediting Council for Independent Colleges and Schools suspended the college's accreditation, meaning it can no longer operate. Diane Worthington, a spokeswoman for the company, said in a written statement, "After many years of training students for new careers, it is with a heavy heart that today we announce that Education Corporation of America is closing all of its career colleges, effective with the completion of the current module or term for most students." Alexis Garula, a student in the dental program at Brightwood College, said, "They don't really have any answers for us. We can take our final test and get credit for this last course." Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports Republicans and Democrats in the U.S. Senate scrambled on Thursday to save an effort to overhaul America's prison policies and criminal sentencing standards, seen as a bipartisan win just weeks ago, but now up against a major obstacle. Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who controls the chamber's agenda, has not brought up the legislation for a vote, even though it is backed by President Donald Trump and perhaps as many as 70 senators, depending on how you're counting. High political stakes ride on the outcome, which some lawmakers see as a test of Congress's ability to pass any kind of bipartisan policy reform, even with White House support. With the Democrats taking over the House of Representatives in January and Republicans keeping their grip on the Senate, bipartisanship will be needed to get much done in 2019 and 2020, even if hyperpartisanship has been the norm in recent years. Entitled the First Step Act, the bill would make it easier for some deserving inmates to be released from prison into halfway houses or home confinement, create programs to reduce recidivism, and prevent first-time nonviolent offenders from facing harsh mandatory minimum sentences. Waiting for next year, they fear could give opponents more time to pick apart the current legislation. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Everyone needs to get a justice shed. So you have a place to throw that little juvenile delinquent you caught loitering out on the street corner. This is not rocket science, people. I just call up my neighbors, Frank and Terry. We get out there with baseball bats, fishing nets, and we knock that suspect out. And we toss him in our justice shed. We just start dealing out some shovel beatings. That's democracy, people. That's the biggest benefit of the justice shed, people. You are in charge.
Our justice shed was all filled up, so we created this justice cage. It's just as good. These guys, I think we caught them shoplifting, and this is my daughter's boyfriend.
Look, if you don't have a yard big enough to place a justice shed in, go out and get yourself a justice barrel. I don't care. The important thing is to take control of your safety by any means necessary.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want and take control of the airwaves here on the live Saturday edition of the show. 855 450 free like freedom. Looks like there's new rules coming to Facebook. Yes, according to Reason.com in a recent story published a couple days ago, new rules will be banning erotic art, talk of shared sexual interests, kink groups, and anything that, quote, encourages sexual encounters between adults. Those are all going to be banned, apparently, from Facebook. We'll tell you more about that.
That's really weird.
It is. We'll tell you more about that story from Reason.com coming up here in moments. Ian and Mark in the studio here, live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live as we go to the phones, to the fun. Also, by the way, we've got our Discord on-air call-in line rooms. You just go to discord.lrn.fm. You do need the Discord app, I think, to use the call-in line rooms. You can use the web version of Discord and use that for chatting, but I don't think they have the actual you can talk to us ability in the web version. So download the Discord app to your smart device or your laptop or whatever it is you use, and then get into one of those call-in line rooms, and you will sound almost like you're sitting in the studio like Wikiwea. And he's also calling us from across the pond over in the UK. So I guess it's the morning there. Good morning.
Hi there, yeah. Can you hear me okay? I'm in a slightly noisy room.
You're fine. Where are you at?
Well, the only place I could get Wi-Fi this time is in Ireland. They've got a really noisy Christmas thing going on, so yeah.
Where was it? You cut out. The Wi-Fi dropped for a moment there. Where were you?
Oh, I said the only place I could get Wi-Fi this time was in a hotel.
Ah, okay. Very good.
And, they've got some kind of Christmas thing going on. So
yeah, as long as you've got a decent internet connection, Discord's going to sound pretty great. We'll see how this goes. You're dropping a few packets, but go ahead with your thoughts.
Sure, okay. And I don't have a great mic as well, that's why. Yeah, I mean, I was just speaking of like I was wondering how you guys feel about like nation and like the idea, I guess, of nationality and national identity. I mean,
I'm against it. I'll say this: we're losing some of what you're saying here, but I did hear the question about nations and how we feel about national identity. I think, Mark, you were touching on this earlier. That essentially it disguises what the politicians do. It distracts people from what's really going on. It gets them all, like you said, your heart swells, when you hear certain nationalistic kind of music and you see bald eagles
and the imagery and all that stuff. I feel like so many do.
The flag waving in the wind, all that stuff.
I think that there's no way to separate humans from these sorts of things. I mean, we are what they call a small group primate, right?
Well, nations aren't small groups.
I know, but you imprint and identify on them. Now, the United States is unique. It's a federal government. It is not a state in the contemporary. It's not even a nation state, because how could it be? It's a compilation of states, and state used in the term of an organization that claims a monopoly privilege over the use of violence.
Well, it is that.
It
is a monopoly on violence. It's a state.
It's not. It should not be. It's founding documents. Well, all right. I mean, many of the court rulings have moved it that direction over time, but it should not be.
Most of the states.
What's unique about the United States government is that it is the United States itself, the landmass, is that it contains many different nations. Look,
that was the idea, but what you have now, those nations, the states that you're talking about.
I'm not talking about states. You're not listening to me. I use the term nation differently than I would use the term state. Nation is an actual group of people. So, like if you the Iroquois nation, okay, or something like that. It's a good example of what I'm talking about. People in different geographic areas.
You're talking about a non-political nation?
Yes, a non-political nation, a group of people. So this is how people in the South, and I'm from Florida, and as are you, and I can say that I see the Confederate flag. It doesn't mean the same thing to me as it may mean to a Northerner or to a person of color or anything like that. To me, it's this heritage thing. But I would never display it. It's just what it means to me. And it's because, I can look at that flag and I can look at the American flag and I can see how somebody could have both of those things on their truck at the same time and not feel like they're being in any way dichotomous. I get it. I see how they're doing that. It's because we are the nation state of the United States is a compilation of nations in and of itself. However, I don't see any particular value when you identify with this group or that group or whatever. To me, I think there's very little difference between that and identifying as the Crips and the Bloods. Okay, so you're from Little Italy, New York. So what? who cares? Or whatever, wherever it is. It just doesn't matter.
Sometimes it does count a bit because you kind of need to cooperate with the people closest to you geographically. More
Do you need to love them because they were born near you?
No, definitely not.
Right.
No.
I mean, it's also exclusionary. This belief in nations also is pretty exclusionary. It says basically I should only like people that look like me, that are from the place that I'm from, and all this other stuff. And
that's bad concept. It separates people and it divides and
it promotes ignorance.
Absolutely, it does, and that's what we see with the people who are against immigration, for instance, or supposedly only.
Do you guys refuse to? Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Do you guys refuse to stand for the anthem then?
Yes, actually, I refused to stand today for the Pledge of Allegiance. They didn't sing the anthem, but sort of the same kind of concept, refusing to stand while in a room full of Republicans. By the way, I was at the Cheshire County Republican meeting here for the first time since the Libertarian Party had lost its ballot status. I've gone ahead and joined the Republicans, Mark, as you've been long encouraging me to do. So I'm no longer a Democrat, no longer a Libertarian.
They're going to get ballot status, I can tell you that.
They already have ballot status.
Right. Look,
they're
you
not
already
win.
You're already a step ahead of the game.
Yeah. So, but I stayed seated through that Pledge of Allegiance, and then somebody sang a bar of one of those nationalistic tunes. I forget which one. Let Freedom Ring. That was what they started singing after that.
America the Beautiful really should have been the national anthem. It's such a more accessible song. Anybody can sing it, and the words aren't, it's not written by a slaver. It's not, it's just a much better song than, the Star Spangled Banner.
Wikawea, thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. So, yeah, anywhere you are in the world, by the way, you can participate here. You don't have to call a toll-free line. You can get on our Discord server like he just did over at discord.lrn.fm.
So when you don't stand for the pledge, first off,
I never do.
What I do usually just leave the room and use the bathroom or something. I don't
chicken.
I don't think it forwards the conversation.
No, it generally doesn't.
Right.
However, I was pleased that some people still talked to me after they saw me do that. So
right. So all it does is separate you from the people who you're going to talk to, sort of emotionally, without any particular value put forward. Like you get a emotional charge because you're like, I've stood up for my values, but your values aren't communicated.
Well, in that case, I sat down for my values.
Fine, you sat for your values. But none of your values are communicated to people. It's just
you're
like,
right.
Why do you hate America?
It is a bit of iconoclasm, however, Mark, and it could start a conversation. Although some people are probably more likely
it would do that more often.
They would probably are more likely to silently resent you for it,
or they're just going to. If you say start a conversation, it could start a fight.
It could start a fight.
Right.
You're right about that.
I understand why one would do it. Like that's the very reason that you do it is to put yourself.
I do not want to start a fight. That is not the reason I do it.
Right, but you do want to.
I want to signal that not everybody's going along with this anymore, and I'm willing to be the first person to do it. And if there were more than one person doing it, then people would start to be more likely to realize that something's going on. Because if it's just one person, then that's just a rude jackball, But if it's a group of people, then it's like, what's going on here?
I'm glad we agree.
Very unusual that this could happen. I think a good example of this is a more understandable example might be for people if you don't stand for a judge when a judge enters a courtroom. And this is something.
And why would you? It's just another person walking in to do another government functionary role.
It's a religious ceremony is why people do it.
It has some similarities to a religious ceremony, yes.
They are trained to do this. It is essentially a group action that people do because other people are doing. So it doesn't have, the standing for a judge doesn't have the same kind of.
It's contrary to reason.
Well, because you could get arrested by.
No, I'm saying it's contrary to reason to stand for a judge. I mean, why? It's just a government bureaucrat.
Well, you're being told to by a man with a gun.
Right. Now, there's a good reason to stand up.
Right.
But that is not the reason they want you to stand.
I want to talk a little more about, how that differs from the national anthem, because people don't have the same love for judges that they do for the national anthem. So you might be able to understand this better if I explain this. We're coming up here. It's Free Talk Live. When do you want to spot that burglar? When he's casing your home or after he's in? Ask John, whose Blink camera alerted him of burglars trying to break in while his family was home. Or Shannon, whose Blink camera caught a package thief. Blink motion-activated cameras are wire-free, set up in minutes, and run on 2 AA batteries that last up to 2 years. Save up to a whopping 40% off all outdoor XT and add-on cameras through December 22nd, while supplies last. Visit blinkprotect.com/holiday. blinkprotect.com/holiday.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry MyPillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose.
And here's Mike's best offer ever. MyPillow is now offering 50% off their 4-pack special plus free shipping. Go to mypillow.com or call 800-951-5617 and use promo code FTL. That's 50% off plus free shipping. Don't delay. Order now.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll free. Join us right here on the live Saturday edition of the show. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. It's 855-450-3733. Coming up, Facebook cracking down even further on content. No, they're not just stopping pornography. They're going to be stopping erotic art, shared sexual interest discussion, kink groups, and more. We'll tell you about that on the way. Ian and Mark in the studio here tonight. And by the way, I want to thank Ellen, who is a Free Talk Live Gold Amplifier, somebody who supports what we do here on Free Talk Live via the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And Ellen is a Gold Amplifier, which means she's doing $10 per month to the AMP program. Now, we only ask for $5, but she's doing 10, so really appreciate that because she values what we do. She wants to help us get on more radio stations, for instance. We've got 190-some stations right now.
Speaking about real freedom, not the Republican or Democrat version of freedom, but real freedom and what it means. Speaking logic, speaking truth to power, every opportunity that we get. Like, we don't pull the punches, and we don't sugarcoat our message because some particular group or another wants it to sound a certain way.
And we've lost radio stations because we don't pull punches and don't sugarcoat our message.
Yeah, the good news is that all the other talk show hosts are going to die soon.
We do tend to be younger than most of the hosts in the industry.
I mean, look, there are 4 of them. Basically, 3 of them are off the air as of
January 1st.
As of January
Michael
1st.
Medved, Laura Ingram, Phil Valentine, their syndicated programs are ending. Ingram's going off the radio completely. Valentine and Medved are ending their syndicated shows, meaning they're going to continue in a local market wherever it is that they are.
Yeah, their paychecks probably won't be affected terribly, but whatever.
And then Michael Savage is cutting his show back to just an hour live on radio, which basically is quitting. I mean, that's basically him signaling that he's going to be done soon.
He's not a young man.
Nope, that's true.
And that's the other thing is Free Talk Live. We just keep on chugging along. We've been doing this for 16 years on 190 radio stations.
So if you want to join the AMP program, we sure would appreciate it. It makes a difference for us. It makes it so we can effectively market Free Talk Live, get on more radio stations around the country, and also bring new internet listeners on board. So if you value the fact that we're spreading the ideas of liberty and doing it 7 nights per week with live programming every single night, please go to amp.freetalklive.com. You get perks, benefits like the AMP Only podcast. There's the AMP Only Facebook group. And then there's more. There's also special contributors, chat rooms on our Discord server. You can get a special Free Talk Live badge as an amplifier on our forum. Get the full list of benefits over at amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com. And one of them is we'll give you props on the air if you opt into it. By default, you're anonymous with the AMP program, so you have to opt into that, but you'll get the instructions when you sign up. amp.freetalklive.com. So I said I wanted to comment on the idea of not standing up. You had asked about not standing for the Pledge of Allegiance or National Anthem, and I wanted to kind of explain that while getting off the table this emotionalism that is associated with those things.
Right. So my stance is that although I can see why one would choose not to stand for the pledge or whatever, and there's all kinds of reasons, my stance is that it doesn't really go forward very well. Let's take a look at Colin Kaepernick for a second. A guy who chooses to kneel rather than just sitting there. He chooses to kneel in order to show some level of respect or whatever, but also to protest what he considers to be, and I don't, but he considers to be a institutional racism in the area of law enforcement in the United States, right? I would disagree with him, or I quibble over some points, whatever. I'd certainly be willing to talk to him about it, and I've sent him emails. Hey, come on the show, let's chit-chat about this. But I support his right to do that, and I support him not being blackballed in the process. But what happens is that so many people get all riled up, and the first thing they have to say is you're disrespecting the soldiers. Now, Colin Kaepernick's protest was designed by kneeling rather than sitting, was designed in order to accommodate veterans. His kneeling was suggested by a veteran. That's not what he's trying to do. In fact, he's trying to protest something else. But when
people misinterpret,
they don't misinterpret.
They don't know.
That's willful misdirection. Okay, and that's much different. People do misinterpret, or they just choose not to interpret, or whatever. And I think that the act of not standing or sitting or turning your back or whatever one does during these things is a protest that just doesn't have it just doesn't go anywhere. It communicates poorly.
Well,
I want to communicate
most protests don't go anywhere. Okay, when you go and you stand out on the side of a road and you hold a sign, or you stand in front of some government building and you hold a sign, or you shout and People love to chant, which I find absolutely despicable. But these things they don't actually change things. That was Larry in the very beginning of the show. He was saying we need to get people out and get into politicians' faces. And I didn't actually quote what I wanted to quote when Larry was on the line, which was the old statement. I think it was Ronald Reagan, one of his staff members, said, "Let them protest so long as they pay their taxes."
I can't remember who that was.
They are not concerned.
Casper Weinberger?
No, that's not it. If you said the name, I would know it, but I'm also not thinking of it. But anyway, the point that I'm making here about this is
Alexander Haig.
Thank you for that. Yeah, Haig said that. And
let them march all they want as long as they continue to pay their taxes. Yeah, right.
They don't care.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything to them. There's police there. There's barricades. The politicians are
It's free-range serfdom, people.
Yeah, they're protected.
As long as you continue to give the Lord his due, he's going to let you protest and do whatever you want. Because as long as you're paying your taxes, you're doing what he wants you to do. Anything else, the United States government, there's a Princeton study. About 30% of what Americans want gets passed, which means about 70% of the things that get passed are not things that Americans want.
Mm-hmm.
And that the United States government looks more like an oligarchy than it does like a republic. And
for sure,
that's I'm not going to claim it's by design, but I'm going to claim that it's by retrofit.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the families. We have our own families here, political families like the Bushes.
Yeah,
and the Clintons.
That's just that's just an outward picture of what is really going on. The fact is that people who are self-serving,
politicians,
and evil, tend to seek power.
Yes. Yep.
And power. This not me talking here. This is not me just saying something. This is actual scientific studies. Power tends to make people's morals more slippery. So power corrupts, and the corrupted are attracted to power. Yes. Let's make a system full of powerful people, and then maybe it'll do what we want. I mean, what kind of and then you don't know. Then 60% of only 1/3 of Americans, it's 2/3 of Americans can't pass the citizenship test. I'm sorry. What we have here is ignorance, willful disregard for reason and logic, and no country can survive that. No republic can survive that. Certainly a monarchy could survive that. You just have people in for life, then the serfs don't need to know those things. But there's responsibility, or at least, responsibility is probably not the right term, but something akin to responsibility that comes with citizenship, and it's just not used.
And there is a logical reason to stand for a judge, because the man with a gun is ordering you, or at least sounds like he's ordering you to do that in a courtroom. But what happens when people don't? What happens when enough people don't? I've seen what happens. There's more coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
We know you've had Dragon's Breath in the morning, but you've got to experience Dragon's Breath at night. Wolf Hill Ammo's Dragon's Breath, an incendiary shotgun round in 12 gauge, 20 gauge, and a 410 with an amazing muzzle flash and a fireball that launches up to 125 yards. Pure fun to shoot. At Wolf Hill Ammo, we love shotguns and offer the best specialty shotgun ammo on the market. Visit wolfhillammo.com to see our large selection of specialty shotgun ammo at great prices with flat rate shipping. wolfhillammo.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agris Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agrishosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agrishosting.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk live Saturday show. You can dial toll free to join us here. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Mark, tell me about hope.freetalklive.com.
Yeah, hope.freetalklive.com is it's a link to basically a Facebook post that I made that is about raising funds for an orphanage in Jinja, Uganda. It's Kagoma, Jinja, Uganda. And the listeners and hosts and everybody in Free Talk Live, we built this orphanage last year. And so they've got a real nice place. The kids have got a bed to sleep in. They got a shower. They got a foot locker that they can put their stuff in. It's great. But they're kind of house poor. Now they got a place to sleep. It's nice to have a place with a closed sewage system. It's nice to have not getting rained on and those kind of things. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. But they don't have income. They have no way to really make income. You're not going to be able to beg there. It's really rural and that sort of thing. So they need some kind of income. And what we came up with was doing some farming. They have free labor in the form of orphans, and if they could just get some land, they can grow their own food. So that's step one. They can also sell some of that food at market. And this is another important part is the kids need to go to school. They're not going to be able to rise above their station in life if they don't have some kind of education. And many of them are going to school. We got funds for that, but we need to keep that going. So if they can then sell some of the food that they produce to pay school fees, and more importantly, if they can get enough school fees together for long enough, it's actually cheaper to bring a teacher into the orphanage. And then local kids can come and they can cut the cost for them too. It's great. So basically, to buy some land, it's going to cost about $35,000 to get 6 acres. That's a lot of land, but that way they can, it's something to grow into and that kind of thing. So
didn't you also say they could rent out to like experienced farmers to some of that land,
right?
To make some money.
The idea is early on when
if you got land, it's better to just rent it out rather than doing all the work yourself. Right?
I'd rather them have 1 acre to learn on. At some point, they'll be able to run all 6 acres on their own, but then they could, work on 1 acre, rent out the other 5. Right. The 5 will pay for the school fees, and the 1 acre will bring food in for the orphanage.
Yeah.
And that's basically the idea. At this point, we've raised almost $4,000, and I want to thank everybody who's donated.
10th of the way there.
Yeah, we're 10th of the way there, and excited to raise some more. This is basically in a week and a half we've raised that amount of money, and matching funds. If you give, another $1 will be given.
Really?
The Shire Free Church.
Up to a certain amount?
I haven't gotten matching funds all the way up at this point, but I'm not worried.
Okay.
If somebody wants to give a whole bunch to be matched, I'll just make them I'll give them a call and we'll talk about it, and I'll make them a matcher. So
okay. Double matching then. If we get to that point, we don't have it yet, but.
Yeah, if more people want to match funds, then we've done that before in the building of the orphanages. We had double matching funds at one point. But at this point, we've got matching funds. So every $1 you give, every Christmas $1 you give for these kids to be able to get some food and get educated will be matched. So go to hope.freetalklive.com.
One other thing, the Shire Free Church, which is the organization that runs this radio show, will also be the one owning the property. So the property over there will be still in the hands of the church, right?
That's correct. So that way we can have some control.
More accountability.
We're not changing, right? If management changes at the orphanage or whatever, I don't want a situation where they're just, selling the land or doing whatever.
Right.
The land has a purpose, and the Shire Free Church which is our organization. The Shire Free Church is in charge of it.
Okay. Hope.freetalklive.com will get you to see pictures and learn more about
all that
how to donate.
Hope.freetalklive.com. Every way possible for you to donate: credit cards and checks and cash and all that stuff.
Okay, so anyway, we were talking about the idea of not standing up for the national anthem and or Pledge of Allegiance, and I wanted to explain. Because, Mark, you were questioning
not standing
this.
Up for a judge.
Yeah, you were questioning the idea of, well, what's the real value of not standing for the national anthem? Isn't it just going to upset people? They're not going to ask you about it. And, there's a chance that's, I would say a good chance.
Yeah, the most likely outcome.
That's going to happen. But if you want something to change, and I want nationalism to go away, I want the idea of people believing in nations, because we discussed earlier how it divides people and it's just very destructive. If I want that to go away, I have to be the change I want to see. And that's not going to happen if you keep going along to get along. And if you don't believe in, singing that anthem or reciting that pledge, which, by the way, was written by a socialist, the Pledge of Allegiance, if you don't believe in those things, then going and doing those things is contrary to your beliefs, and you shouldn't do that. Now, I don't blame somebody for wanting to avoid conflict. That's why you said, Mark, you'll walk out of a room or something like that in that situation. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going along to get along, you're not going to foment any change. So as an example of how this could work on a smaller scale, and one that more people could probably understand without getting emotional, is people standing for a judge. People do it because it's tradition. It's what everybody sees in the movies. It's what the man with the gun, the bailiff in the courtroom, bellows whenever the judge walks in, "All rise!" And everybody obediently rises because people are afraid of what might happen if they don't. Or maybe they actually do worship judges and they really feel, the swelling in their heart when a judge walks in the room, but I doubt that. I doubt there are many people who are like, "Oh, the judge. I just feel like it feels so good to stand for this judge." I doubt there's that many who feel that way, but there are probably some. So, what happens if you don't do it? Well, in some courtrooms, you could be attacked. You could be threatened. There is definitely a possibility that, somebody a man with a gun could then come at you. I remember being in Massachusetts in a courtroom where the bailiffs actually ran angrily towards the group of us that were sitting down in that courtroom and started threatening people. So there's some risk involved. Let me make that crystal clear here. However, once you do it once, and especially if you do it with more than one person, you're much more likely to be safe in that courtroom continuing to do it. So here in Keene, New Hampshire, we do it all the time if we're in court, and nobody even bats an eye anymore. Right. So we've done that. And once you get to a certain number of people, like if you're the only person sitting down in court, Everybody's going to, if they notice you, they're not going to go along with you. But if there's more than one of you, if there's, say, half a dozen or a dozen of people who are staying seated, sitting in the front row, so everybody behind them can see that they're staying seated, there's an effect that happens, because usually people go along to get along, right? So if they perceive, if the average person
they're
in the
just going
audience,
to do what's expeditious, and if sitting is more expeditious than standing, if there's no consequence to not standing,
correct,
they likely will continue
to sit
and recognize the judge for what he is, which is a government functionary, a bureaucrat,
a man in a robe,
right?
And so I've actually seen it happen where the liberty activists, the people staying seated for the judge, have been the majority of people in a courtroom. Not a full courtroom, but a majority of, let's say, a couple dozen folks in a courtroom. We have, if we got a dozen, almost everybody else stays seated. The only people who stand up in that circumstance are the prosecutor, the defense attorney, anybody.
The people who swore an oath to the bar.
Right. Anybody who's there working for the state, working for the judge, and even defense attorneys swear an oath of allegiance to the court, so they're going to stand too. But I've actually seen that happen where, and if enough people stay seated, nobody in that audience will stand for the judge. And you know what the judge does in that case? Just goes along, sits down, starts the trial. Just ignores it. In fact, that's what they do every time now, is they ignore it. It gets to the point where if we're in the courtroom in Keene, New Hampshire, the bailiff will not bellow, "All rise."
Because bellowing "all rise" and people don't rise,
it looks bad.
It looks bad.
Yep. So that's what I'm talking about here, Mark. If people could apply that same thing to the Pledge of Allegiance, it would be interesting to see what happened in a room full of people. So let's say at a city council meeting here in Keene, New Hampshire, where they start with the pledge. If you actually could have enough people in that council meeting to stay seated, what would the rest of the audience do?
I'm curious if those that are shocked at the notion of not standing for the Star-Spangled Banner, do they stand if they play it on the TV for the, like a football game?
While you're at home?
Like by yourself? Are you standing there? If your
Good
family's
question.
in the room?
Good question. Toll-free number here if you want to jump in, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
CBD and hemp is the latest buzz. Find out more by attending a free no-obligation seminar on Saturday, December the 8th at the DoubleTree by Hilton located on Normandale Boulevard, Bloomington, Minnesota, starting at 10 a.m. For more information, contact me, Nasima, at 763-245-0190. That's 763-245-0190.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at lrn.fm? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at lrn.fm. That's lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free to join us here. Civil disobedience, non-cooperation, not standing for things that people have traditionally stood for. That's what we were talking about, but you can bring up anything you want here. The number 855-450-FREE. Plus, coming up, Facebook, according to Reason.com, is going to be banning things that aren't pornography, but they're still sex-related, like talk about shared sexual interests or anything that, quote, encourages sexual encounters between adults. These are things that apparently are going to be forbidden on Facebook very soon. So we'll tell you more about that, or maybe already. I don't know all the details.
Can you encourage sexual interest between married adults? I mean,
no, we'll get into it more.
That seems like a good thing.
But we're going to the phones first, and I do want to let you know about Liberty Stickers. If you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty, you can do it from the back of your car with libertystickers.com. You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and it's probably way less offensive than not standing up for nationalistic, tunes.
It's probably a better communication device, too.
Yeah. And people, of course, love to read them. You can check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic liberty-oriented messages at libertystickers.com. Let's go to Dave. He's in Indianapolis listening to WIBC FM. Hello, Dave.
I appreciate you taking my call, and I apologize to your call screener for being so long-winded. I'll be shorter with you.
That's okay.
Maybe I misunderstood, but I just wanted to say something about American exceptionalism and about nationalism, patriotism, that it isn't the same for us in America than it is the rest of the country. If a person is from France and they're proud of being from France, it's a little different than the pride that people have for America, because America was, when it was established, was different than any other country had ever been in existence, and that made it exceptional. It's not that American is exceptional because that's our opinion of it. It is because it was different.
So the Republic, the Constitution as it was written, is different and first, and that's good.
No, I'm just saying that in general that it put the individual first. It wasn't an ideal society. It wasn't perfect, utopia, all that. The idea was to put man as the paramount, to put the individual as the paramount, to put him first in front of government, which had never existed before. You had rights over the people that ruled. They didn't really rule you. They just led you. And that was different. Do
you think there's any chance that's just a lie about what they told us?
No.
No? You think that that you think that you somehow have some control over the government, but that the government doesn't have as much control over you? Which has more control? You over the government?
I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question.
I'm restating the question because it wasn't very good. Which has more control? You over the government or the government over you?
As an individual, I'd say the government over me.
Yeah, by a long shot, right?
People, us over them.
There's no
as a
us.
mass.
There is no us. Like if 240 years of this country hasn't demonstrated anything up to this point, there is no us.
Well, you and I are talking.
Yeah, we're chit-chatting.
Well, that's enough to prove there's an us. It's just a matter of whether you're willing to go vote or not.
I vote.
How does that make a difference?
I vote and nothing changes. My vote has very rarely had an effect.
Of course it changes.
What changes?
Maybe not the effect you were looking for.
Well,
what is voting getting us?
A president changes every 8 years.
Yeah, but
my vote has never changed a president. We could go back and every one of my votes.
Even if it did change the president, what has that done for us?
I'm sorry, are you asking each other?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, it's done good and bad for us. It's made us mad one time. It's made us happy the other time. It's disappointed us most of the time.
When were you happy about a president?
Probably before I could vote.
Which president made you happy?
I think I was pretty. And again, I was pretty young, but I was pretty happy with President Reagan at the time. But I was too young to have voted for him.
Now, is that because you were too young to really know what was going on with President Reagan?
I've since learned more about him and respect him more now.
Now, do you respect him because he dramatically grew the size of the federal government while he was in office?
He made a lot of mistakes when he was president. I'm talking about as a person, as a mind, as an intelligent person. I know he was a lot smarter than he came across as president, and that him and Ayn Rand and they had a group of them. What's the guy that used to be the Fed chairman?
Greenspan?
Greenspan. They used to get together in a group. These were intelligent people. He understood government. That's what made him switch from being a Democrat to a Republican. He learned to understand statism.
And
then grew the government dramatically.
I like Reagan's philosophy.
He did do some things absolutely as
60%
president that I wouldn't have done. He wasn't a libertarian.
Well, he said that I believe he said something to the effect of libertarianism's. There's a Reagan quote about libertarianism. I'd have to hunt it down, but I mean, that's really the issue at hand here. Is that the people that the politicians that say that they want to do this thing or that thing, Republicans haven't shrunk the government yet. Right? Like they just keep telling us that they're going to do that.
It's very disappointing, and
it's not going to get better.
I didn't vote for Bush. I held my nose and voted for McCain. I held my nose and voted for Trump.
And what difference did it make? The government just keeps getting bigger. I mean, you tried to posit the idea that voting has somehow made a difference, and you said you were happy about Reagan, but acknowledged the fact that he made the government bigger. So exactly what was it that was so happy about that?
It depends on how you define difference. If what I vote for, I get exactly everything I want from that politician from then on, well, that's going to make a hell of a difference. But it's also going to make a lot of other people mad because it's not what they want. But I've been disappointed up to now. I have to agree with you, and I am disappointed to see that the government has continued to get bigger. And no matter who we put in office, I don't think until the American people understand more about government.
Are they going to do that?
Then what are they going to do?
They'll be willing to make the difference.
Vote harder?
Right.
I mean, what?
I just saw Jimmy Kimmel. We just read an article where 2/3 of Americans don't know, they couldn't pass the U.S. citizenship exam. I mean, I'm doing my best to tell people, hey, you're dumb and you should get smarter. But I'm telling an audience which is likely far more educated in the area of governance than the average voter. So it's difficult. I don't think. Here's my statement. I'm not patriotic anymore, and I don't believe in American exceptionalism because this is the result. What we have right now, a nation that is rated number 17 on the world's economic freedom chart by the Heritage Foundation, no libertarians them.
A conservative group.
Right. And not rated in the top 10 by I can't remember what the organization is that does social freedoms. Sorry. American exceptionalism may have. You're gonna be right in here as soon as I finish my statement. America is exceptional at being statist. Go ahead.
American exceptionalism isn't based on what people in office do, what things that make what constituents happy. It's more of an ideal, and the fact that in this country, when your government does something unjust to you, you actually have a legitimate complaint. in much of the rest of the world, when they screw you over,
No. Stop it. Stop for a second.
That they did anything wrong.
You don't get to say, hey, the knuckle-dragging Muslims do this or that. That's not fair. We're talking about a service organization that's serving you and I, and they do a poor job, and they're getting worse over time. Yes, much of the world has crappy government, but so do we.
Congratulations. You can point to a document and say, see, they're breaking their own rules. In fact, we've done that here on Free Talk Live. We've gone through the Constitution. Well, we've gone, item by item down the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, and over the years have pointed out to our listeners that almost all of them have been violated, and flagrantly so.
That's not a reflection on it, though.
On what?
On the government?
Because it's been flouted and ignored, it isn't a reflection on the Bill of Rights.
No. It's a reflection on the government not giving a flip about the Bill of Rights.
So it's a reflection on the people in the government, not the government itself.
Okay.
What's the difference?
Hold on,
about the
Ian,
ideal.
just a second. Important quote from Lysander Spooner, an abolitionist from the 1880s. He made the quote in the 1880s. He was an abolitionist before that. He said that this Constitution, basically, I'm going to paraphrase, has either authorized the government we have, or it has been powerless to prevent it. Do you agree that that is a true statement?
I'd say powerless to prevent it because
then
it's
what
put
good
in control.
Why
Hold
do
on
I
a
want?
Second, please.
No, wait. Why do you want me to worship a document that can't do anything?
I didn't say anything about worship, and you only got half my answer.
Okay, go ahead.
I said it is powerless to prevent it because it has put in control a constituent, the people. It put them in control, and half of them don't know very much at all.
2/3, according to the document.
They have to learn.
It doesn't matter if they know a thing or two. Dave, good call, man. I do appreciate it. It doesn't matter if they know what's going on.
I hope
it's
he calls
still
back.
going to attract the power seekers. So even if everybody becomes really educated and all of them can pass the citizenship test, that's not going to stop power seekers from seeking power, and those people are likely to wield it in very violent, dangerous, statist, awful, authoritarian ways. How's that going to change anything?
Clearly, the Constitution's not about small government.
More coming up. Hour 3's next.
Hi, folks. It's a holiday season with hope in the air. Things to look forward to and no time for despair. Health can be a challenge, and so can the mail. So Get the Tea wants to help you by giving you a sale. Buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month for free. No limit. That's buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month free. That's a savings of $35. Where? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Scroll down on the front page and find the Buy 2, Get 1 free ad. Click it and save. Orders over $100 get free shipping. Send the gift of life. Change tea at GetTheTea.com. We have many non-GMO organic supplements just waiting for you. This holiday season, enjoy health and Thanksgiving with GetTheTea.com. Want to call us? 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. GetTheTea.com is a proud sponsor of Doing What's Right. That's GetTheTea.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Gerald W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of December 7th through the 9th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.48 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,240 per ounce. Zen is trading at $5, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,408. Antiwar.com reports Yemen's high-profile peace talks in Sweden are set to open, but already look to be on the brink of collapse, with both sides lashing out at one another and Houthi officials openly questioning whether the talks are even serious and worth pursuing. The big stumbling block is that, having finally gotten both sides to the table to discuss a settlement of the multi-year war, the pro-Saudi Hadi government reiterated the same demands they had at the start of the war, insisting that the Houthis unconditionally disarm and cede the city of Hodeidah to them. The Houthis are being a bit more modest in their goals, focusing on trying to get the Sana'a International Airport reopened to civilian traffic. They'd also like Hodeidah to remain open to aid, though that's a matter the UN is already pushing hard for without them. Though every side went into these talks expressing support for a peace process that would end the war, the Hadi government has continued to make it clear their demands are an unconditional victory, and as ever, that is putting a roadblock in front of serious efforts to start making a permanent deal. In 1999, Darrell W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, "Sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic." Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darrell W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. UPI reports dozens of college campuses suddenly closed without notice this week after parent company Education Corporation of America lost its accreditation and funding. The closing affects 75 campuses across the country, including Brightwood College, Brightwood Career Institute, Ecotech Institute, Gulf Academy of America, and Virginia College. The ECA announced that operations would be discontinued in December of 2018. Information about transferring, getting a transcript, and other general questions will be posted to the site around December 17th. The colleges serve at least 20,000 students, making it one of the largest for-profit colleges in the country. Enrollment has been declining for years, forcing the troubled chain to close one-third of its campuses and pursue a financial overhaul in the courts, but creditors would not relent as ECA fell behind on payments. On Tuesday, the Accrediting Council for Independent Colleges and Schools suspended the college's accreditation, meaning it can no longer operate. Diane Worthington, a spokeswoman for the company, said in a written statement, "After many years of training students for new careers, it is with a heavy heart that today we announce that Education Corporation of America is closing all of its career colleges, effective with the completion of the current module or term for most students." Alexis Garula, a student in the dental program at Brightwood College, said, "They don't really have any answers for us. We can take our final test and get credit for this last course." Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports Republicans and Democrats in the U.S. Senate scrambled on Thursday to save an effort to overhaul America's prison policies and criminal sentencing standards, seen as a bipartisan win just weeks ago, but now up against a major obstacle. Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who controls the chamber's agenda, has not brought up the legislation for a vote, even though it is backed by President Donald Trump and perhaps as many as 70 senators, depending on how you're counting. High political stakes ride on the outcome, which some lawmakers see as a test of Congress's ability to pass any kind of bipartisan policy reform, even with White House support. With the Democrats taking over the House of Representatives in January and Republicans keeping their grip on the Senate, bipartisanship will be needed to get much done in 2019 and 2020, even if hyperpartisanship has been the norm in recent years. Entitled the First Step Act, the bill would make it easier for some deserving inmates to be released from prison into halfway houses or home confinement, create programs to reduce recidivism, and prevent first-time nonviolent offenders from facing harsh mandatory minimum sentences. Waiting for next year, they fear could give opponents more time to pick apart the current legislation. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to the War for the White House bunker. A troubling new report from the Shuttleworth Institute shows that due to Facebook, every potential candidate for the 2040 presidential race, no matter how smart or accomplished, is now completely unelectable. I'm standing in the 2012 Democrat with Jason Copeland. Jason, walk us through this.
Yeah, we're looking at really a political crisis. The Democrats are currently searching basements and creepy backyard sheds in search of somebody who was kidnapped at a young enough age that they have no online presence.
That is a very interesting tactic.
And the GOP has been looking at this young man. This is a 20-year-old Jeeves Jones. He's currently living in Appalachia with his fundamentalist Christian grandmother and no electricity.
So Jeeves has no Facebook page?
Jeeves does not. In fact, he's completely illiterate. And the Republican Party has begun grooming him for a possible candidacy in 2036.
All right. Well, at least there's someone. Thank you, Jason Copeland.
Thanks, Andrea.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Launching into the third hour here. We've got plenty of time for you if you want to join us. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Live Saturday edition with you tonight. It's Ian.
And Mark.
It's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. And you can join one of those over at discord.lrn.fm and sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. In fact, we're going to Discord here in a moment, but first to the phones and the fun. We got Jason in Virginia listening to WLNI Lynchburg. Go ahead, Jason.
Hey, how we doing?
Welcome. You're on the air.
Thank you. So I just wanted to touch base on the national anthem uproar a couple years back with Colin Kaepernick and
sure.
Just some thoughts on the Pledge of Allegiance. First off, with Colin Kaepernick, I'm a veteran, and by him kneeling, I did not take any disrespect to that at all. I mean, the whole reason we went over and fought and do whatever we do is for what they say is for our freedom back home, so people can have the right to do what they want and protest what they want.
That is what they say.
Whole thing,
it's not the actual reason why you're going overseas. You're usually going overseas to the, essentially to appease politicians and follow whatever orders they've given you.
Exactly. But like I said, I had no issue or no problem with that. I had friends that swore off the NFL for that whole reason. And I was like, he has that right. He can do what he wants. And I mean,
if you believe in freedom, he has the right to do that and should be free to do that. However, there's nothing wrong with, protesting or boycotting a market actor, right? If there's somebody in the marketplace, in this case, the NFL, if they want to have a certain rule, or if they don't want to have that rule, you can say, hey, I'm not buying your stuff anymore. I'm not buying your jerseys. I'm not going to your games. I'm not going to watch your television shows. And it's not an illegitimate form of protest. It's completely legitimate. Your friends should have the right to do the thing they've done as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I may not completely agree with Colin Kaepernick's argument, but I enjoy watching the NFL, so I'm not going to stop just because he's doing what he wants.
Is he playing?
Not anymore, I don't think.
No, not anymore.
The people who have stopped watching the NFL because of Colin Kaepernick really don't make any sense to me because, I mean, I don't think he's really even played since since San Francisco. I mean, he's been blackballed.
Yep. And touching base on the Pledge of Allegiance, I don't know about you guys, but I have not said the Pledge of Allegiance since elementary school. And one thought that I've always had, and I'd like to get your guys' opinion on it, is the Pledge of Allegiance is literally a person pledging allegiance to America. And I don't quite understand why we have our kids saying the Pledge of Allegiance when they don't understand what pledging your allegiance to a country is. I mean, I love America. I love living here. I love being able to have my freedoms and all that good stuff, but how can you ask a kid to pledge allegiance to a country when they don't even understand it? It's
because,
like you were talking about with the courtroom, it's people just doing what everyone else is doing.
Well, right, and the reason why they do that is because they're young and their minds are malleable, and this is straight up indoctrination. If you get into a cult, one of the signs you're in a cult is some cults chant, and essentially that's what we're talking about here. It's a cult indoctrination. In fact, it's worse than that. It's statist indoctrination. Worse than that, written by a socialist, Francis Bellamy, the so-called Christian socialist who was a flag salesperson in the late 1800s, who wrote the Pledge of Allegiance. And
so it was never a government thing to begin with. I mean,
it is now.
It has become that, but it wasn't. It wasn't to
But
start
it was
with.
always, intended to, to place the government on a pedestal and to give people
I think
a worshipful
more
attitude.
importantly than all that stuff that you've thrown out is that America was founded on the idea, among others, of not having loyalty oaths. I mean, this was very important to the founders, very important to people in the colonies at the time, is that these loyalty oaths that they were constantly being asked to give towards the king and to the governor and all that stuff in their given areas were just irritating to them. They're like, why would you make me do this? The Quakers refused to take them, and many of them were thrown in jail. A few of them were
they're
killed.
not just asking you to do it.
And so the idea of, some national socialist more than 100 years after the signing of the Constitution decides, hey, let's sneak in this Pledge of Allegiance and see if we can get folks to do it, because it's been a long time since, so there's a whole problem without loyalty oaths, and then everybody just swallows it hook, line, and sinker. That's anti-American.
Yeah.
Jason, good call, man. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. I appreciate it. As we continue here, we go to Free Market Idiot on the line here on our Discord call-in room. Normally you don't go by that name, Free Market. Usually it's Free Market Penguin, but you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, I forgot to change my name before I called in. It was just in solidarity for some trolling on Discord.
You were trolling.
But anyways...
Okay. Yeah, I noticed a bunch of people on the Discord had changed their name to include the word idiot. So it was like sort of a group thing. I don't know what sparked it.
I don't either, but I think exactly. But it's
you don't know, but you joined in.
Yeah, because some very mean things were said to one of the young ladies on the Discord server, and in solidarity, and I'm pretty sure. So, and some threats and whatever, because we have a very we have a couple of dullards now, and dullard number 2. But anyways,
anyway.
It's a long story. But not to, but for those keeping track at home, it's Free Market Penguin. I couldn't call and talk about anything but the actual topic today, because it's such a huge and important topic: nationalism and patriotism. Nationalism, as well as patriotism, really are the first refuge of the coward, the murderous tyrant, the murderous elite that run the states today, and. Excuse me. And, here's the thing. People that want to do good, that want to do mutually beneficial things, that want to do things that benefit themselves and others, voluntary acts, it's not necessary to use patriotism and nationalism to motivate them. What is used to motivate people to do is to do things that's not in their benefit, that hurts others. It's against their moral sense, their moral compass.
Like dying in the dirt in some foreign land.
Exactly.
For the government.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's seldom used to motivate to do anybody to do what they ought to do, what benefits them.
That's a great point, because they would all automatically be motivated by whatever those circumstances are, whether it be some sort of market action or love or whatever it is that would be motivating them.
Yeah, whether it's market forces or morality, however you want to define that, or either of those really. But that's basically the point of view, that people can come together and they can choose to cooperate to their mutual benefit and for commercial or governmental reasons, and that's fine. But it's when you appeal to the kind of group think and this kind of pride and patriotism, where you happen to be born through no benefit of your own, and you can certainly love the land, that's fine. But to do that, that's when people are some reason motivated to throw all reason aside and just operate off of that kind of group mechanism.
Good thoughts tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. That's the Penguin there from Free Market Idiot is what he's calling himself tonight on the Discord chat. And if you want to jump into our Discord server, you can do that over at discord.lrn.fm. People are in there basically around the clock. I mean, there's almost always some sort of conversation going on between listeners, some of them who get along pretty well, others not so much. And if
you can hear on the air tonight that different people have different ideas. The gentleman who called in last hour, just the end of the last hour, I thought he was great. I remember being sort of in his position previously, where it was like, America's failed the Constitution, not the other way around. And
it's a good document.
I think it's a fine document, but the document's written by men with the intention. The idea, if a document has brought what we have today, that we can't somehow change it, and you can't change the Constitution. Let's be serious, folks. It's etched in stone at this point.
What good would it do if they did change it?
Right. They're going to do what they want. They already do.
Right. And they would ignore it if they changed it.
Sorry. All empires fall. We can see that from history. Is this one on the way up, or is it on the way down? 855-450-3733.
Good question. And if it is on the way down, when's it gonna be over?
855-450-3733.
Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids,
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa,
the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
This is the Onion Week in Review. Thousands of outraged meth addicts urged the federal government this week to address the nation's growing spider epidemic. During a marathon 72-hour meeting under the Roosevelt Bridge Monday, tweakers from across the nation drafted a 45,000-word proposal to kill all the acid-shooting spiders before they develop the powers of mind control or, God forbid, flight.
We can't grow the spiders any longer. The government has to... There's a spider there!
The addicts have agreed that the best temporary solution would be for the government to issue them large quantities of methamphetamine and steel wool. A local daddy was put in his bye-bye box Tuesday so that he could go on a long vacation with the birds and clouds in the sky. The daddy, who was once tall and strong and liked going to the hospital to play with their fun machines, was reportedly put in the bye-bye box after weeks of being sleepy all the time and never finishing his din-din. Family had come in from all over to watch daddy get dropped inside a cool underground fort full of dirt and sand, where he'll be tonight instead of being home to play Chutes and Ladders.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live. Live Saturday edition of the program. You can take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And don't forget, you can join us online. Head over to freetalklive.com and enjoy the features we share with you there on our website. They're free. Archives that go back for more than a decade. We've got, of course, the webcam that you can watch over on our Twitch channel at twitch.lrn.fm. And we're still on YouTube as well, but the highest resolution, the best quality is available over on the Twitch. So many different features that those other hosts charge you to access, we do for free at freetalklive.com. So head over and enjoy. And by the way, if you want to subscribe to our podcast, you can go to feeds.freetalklive.com. It's a way to get every episode of the show delivered directly to you when they are released, is through whatever your favorite podcast client is. There are a variety of them out there. Pick the one that you like. There's different ones for phones and computers and that sort of thing. But our feeds that you can then use to subscribe to Free Talk Live via your podcast client, you can find those feeds over at feeds.freetalklive.com.
Which one do you like? I don't have a favorite podcast client.
I can't make any recommendations. I don't use podcast clients.
Okay.
I just make a podcast.
Right.
I don't actually listen to any podcasts. I just make one of them. So there are a bunch of different options. That would be a good question to ask in our Discord chat room or on our forum at forum.freetalklive.com, because then you can crowdsource answers, get different recommendations from different people, because I guarantee almost everybody in the chat room, if they listen to Free Talk Live, they probably are listening to
Can't be that hard. I mean, it's a really simple server is what it's called. That's what an RSS feed is.
Is that what it stands for? Really simple? Syndication, I think is the final S on that one. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a bunch of different clients out there. I don't want to recommend one because I don't know which one. I can tell you I don't like iTunes, but that's the number one client. People use that one more than any other.
But you probably have to if you have that device.
Yeah, I don't think that most of our listeners are Apple users, though. So I think there's a lot of Windows iTunes users as well. Anyway, go get our feed over at feeds.freetalklive.com and then figure out what to put it into. We're going to continue here. Facebook, the news coming from Reason.com. Elizabeth Nolan Brown writing the story from just a couple days ago, just a few days after Tumblr announced that it would be banning all pornography. Facebook, and by the way, Tumblr apparently is a website where people went to for porn, so that's like a huge change for Tumblr. Facebook has pulled the proverbial hold my beer with its new sexual solicitation policy. Facebook will now be, quote, restricting sexually explicit language because some audiences within our global community may be sensitive to this type of content, as well as talk about, quote, partners who share sexual interests, art featuring people posed provocatively, sexualized slang, and any hints or mentions of sexual positions or fetish scenarios. So basically, any kind of conversation, it sounds like, regarding sex appears to no longer be welcome on Facebook. The company's long been known for bizarre content moderation choices, at times downright puritanical, at others permissive, in a way that goes beyond the typical vagaries of monitoring and filtering massive amounts of content. For instance, the site has gotten flack for banning everything from photos posted by breastfeeding mothers to classical art to Stone Age sculpture in a willy-nilly manner.
Yeah, the problem is they hire these poor people from countries to decide, let's see, does this fit the rules or doesn't it? And, in some cases, these people come from very conservative places, so they're going to find a little clay figurine of a Mother Earth, figure to be, that looks naked. I don't see clothes, so that's bad, or whatever. And, yeah, that just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit.
Its updated community standards explicitly
Fine by me, by the way. Facebook can just go on out the door. It's a good site for sharing recipes, communicating with your friends and family, putting up pictures of the kids so everybody can see them and things like that. But don't think you're going to go on Facebook and convince people of things. These witty memes that we share, they just drive a wedge between Americans. It's just making the problem of the two Americas that Al Gore talked about, it's just making it worse. By the way, I think that's great. There should be two Americas. I think there should be 300 million Americas.
I want to go on with the story, but I want to get to your calls first, so we're going to the phones here, but we'll tell you more about what Facebook is banning, what's no longer allowed. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Roy is on the line listening to WVTS in Charleston, West Virginia. Hello, Roy.
How you doing?
Welcome. Great. You're on the air.
Hey, I don't know. I haven't heard too much about this. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. But on Thursday night, there was a breakthrough in super artificial intelligence. Google had a supercomputer and taught it the very basics of chess. And in 4 hours, the computer taught itself through reasoning to beat any human. Nobody can beat this program now, and it only took 4 hours to do it.
It's interesting you bring that up. It actually was in my show prep. I happen to have the story right here from the Telegraph. Headline, DeepMind's Alpha Zero now showing human-like intuition in a historical, what they're calling a turning point for artificial intelligence. What do you think about this, Roy?
I think that the human race is in trouble.
I think it's a larval stage for machine race.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And, it doesn't know. It only knows what it knows. It doesn't know. It's like a flea on a dog's back. It doesn't know it's a flea. It doesn't know it's alive. It doesn't know what the dog is. It just knows what it has to do to survive. And they're going to try to. There's all kinds of ethics involved in building these super intelligent computers, but the computer's going to find its way around it.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming, and if it senses any threat, I mean, this is 2001: Space Odyssey.
Hell.
And if it senses any threat, it can hide.
Dave, Dave, can't open the door, Dave.
Yep.
So let's say, are you predicting a dire future then with machine overlords or what?
I don't think it'll be overlords. I don't think it needs us. I don't think the machines will need us.
Will they eliminate the human population like in
They're
so
going
many
to
movies?
govern it. At some point or another, somebody's going to say, look, robots are, and you've got me saying it right now. A computer program would be a better governor than whatever it is that humans can put up in its place. So
because it would be consistent?
It would be consistent. It would be, fair and all those other things.
Unless it wasn't fair.
And it would make more logical and rational decisions. At which point, once you have the machines
Which may not
governing,
always be a good thing.
The machines are going to start making rational decisions around who gets to procreate and who doesn't. Once you have that decision being made, you have, essentially a call it a genocide or eugenics, whatever terminology you got that goes on against people with low IQs, dumb people. That's it. That's the end of the human race, because if we can't have dumb people, nobody's going to breed.
I sure hope it's not Facebook that turns sentient, because they are just the worst.
They won't make it to the singularity.
Roy, thanks for bringing that up tonight. I appreciate your thoughts, and thanks for the call. There's more coming up here. And yes, we take requests here on Free Talk Live. There's something in the news you want us to discuss, and if we had a chance, we could talk further about the AI story, because it is interesting, and it's at the tip of the iceberg here. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Join us here. It's Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. Makes the perfect stocking stuffer. Get your Bug Assault today and save $10 on the Bug Beam Laser Combo, only at bugassault.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, dial toll free, take control of the airwaves, bring up anything you want right here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Whether it be the rise of artificial intelligence with some interesting new developments, as our last caller pointed out, we can get into that if we get the chance, or as we've been discussing, Facebook apparently getting ready to crack down, or they've already changed their policies on sexual discussions. We're not talking about pornography. Naked pictures, pornography, those things were already banned from Facebook. You couldn't even have a topless woman on Facebook. But now it's getting much worse. According to Reason.com, they've updated their community standards, and they explicitly ban basically anything that hints at or mentions sexuality. So, Facebook wanted to represent itself as though it was a place for communities, right? Like, come on over and create a group on Facebook. Bring people of like mind into your group and talk about the things that you think are important.
Some of those people who are of like mind have, things they want to talk about that might have something to do with sex.
Exactly. But sorry, not anymore. You're not welcome, according to Facebook's new standards, including specifically ordering users to not post erotic art, to engage in sexualized banter.
Is this going to stop sex from being talked about?
They can still talk about it, but as soon as someone reports it, it could get taken down, and that person could get a strike on their account.
No, it's not going to stop it from being talked about. It's just going to be talked about elsewhere.
Oh, you mean on Facebook? Oh, off of Facebook. Right. Okay.
Right. All this does is drive people off Facebook, which I consider a net positive.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Thank you, Facebook, for making a better world that has less Facebook.
It will also be banning the use of anything above PG language, even you can't advertise legal sex work, organize community events, or private groups related to non-normative sexuality, or even engage in private talk.
Now, but we're going to define what normative sexuality is. All right. Thank you, Facebook.
Or even engage in private talk with other users about hooking up. The new sexual solicitation policy starts by stating that while Facebook wants to facilitate discussion, quote, and draw attention to sexual violence and exploitation, that it draws the line, they say, when content facilitates, encourages, or coordinates sexual encounters between adults, unquote. Can we pause a moment, says Reason.com, to appreciate how weird it is that they lump those things together in the first place? Whatever the intent, it reads as if only content coding sex as exploitative, violent, and negative will be tolerated on the site, even while encouraging consensual adult sex is forbidden. It goes on to instruct its users to not post the following. This is an actual excerpt from their policy.
I'd love to see a preacher who has his congregation on Facebook or whatever, has a congregation on Facebook, a group, right? Just talk about good, positive sexual interactions between married people, and see how this deals. See how their standards deal with that, because it sounds like they don't want to talk about that either. And that sounds. But by the way, that's pretty important.
So here's some of the things that are banned. This is explicitly from their policy, the so-called sexual solicitation policy. Anything that is an attempt to coordinate or recruit for adult sexual activities, such as filmed sexual activities, pornographic activities, and erotic dances or massages. Explicit sexual, those kink groups get together, right? There's certain groups of people, swingers, kinky people, whatever. They get together. Nope, can't be promoting that on Facebook anymore. Explicit sexual solicitation, which is defined as offering or asking for sex or sexual partners, sex chats or conversations, and nude images. So apparently, sex chats, conversations, one-on-one, not allowed on Facebook. Implicit sexual solicitation, which is defined as mention of a sexual act, along with at least one of the following suggestive elements. Vague suggestive statements such as, quote, looking for a good time tonight. Sexualized slang, sexual hints, such as mention of sexual roles, positions, or fetish scenarios. Content, hand-drawn, digital, or real-world art that may depict explicit sexual activity or suggestively posed persons. So, got a picture of a, nymph or whatever that's in an artsy kind of photo, just reclining? Sorry, that's not allowed. Anything that could bring up an image of sex in someone's mind, no longer allowed on Facebook.
Ladies and gentlemen, if this is, if this is true, and I have never seen Reason.com not be true, you are now witnessing the jumping of the shark for Facebook. This is it. This is when it became irrelevant.
Oh, they link straight to this this policy, by the way. There's a little bit more here. I'm
just stunned by it. It's just hard for me to even believe.
Offers or requests for other adult activities, such as commercial pornography or partners who share sexual fetish interests. Content that engages in explicit sexual solicitation, including but not limited to the following: offering or asking for sex or sexual partners. So it doesn't have anything to do with paying for sex. It's just asking for it.
Does asking for sexual partners work?
If you were to post, I'm really horny,
asking for a friend.
Here's my phone number on Facebook, that would be against the rules. sex chat or conversations, nude images. Well, that one's already been banned. Content that offers or asks for other adult activities such as commercial pornography, partners who share... They're repeating this multiple times here. And then finally, sexually explicit language that adds details and goes beyond mere naming or mentioning of a state of sexual arousal, an act of sexual intercourse, such as sexual penetration, self-pleasuring, or exercising fetish scenarios. That's the end of the
They seem to really dislike fetishes.
Yeah, the end of the excerpt there. And this is from their community standards. I'm on the facebook.com/community standards/sexual_solicitation. It's all right there for you to see. Finally, PC Magazine writes, to be clear, Facebook already had a ban on porn and sexual solicitation on the platform. It was previously stated under their sexual exploitation of adults section of Facebook's content rules, along with the adult nudity and sexual activity section.
That's offensive there, that the idea that somebody taking a nude picture of you voluntarily is exploiting.
However,
I don't know whether or not I'm not smart enough to decide whether or not I'm being exploited, is what they're saying. Thanks, Facebook. Thanks for being smarter than me. Go pound salt in your butt.
Oh, it's banned, Mark. You can't say that on Facebook.
Banned.
However, the social network decided to flesh out the anti-sexual solicitation policy, they say, to help Facebook better address the content on the platform, according to a company spokesperson. Quote from their spokesperson, "This change was prompted in large part by conversations with our content reviewers, who told us that the sexual exploitation policy did not adequately distinguish between exploitation, like my ex was a slut, look at the photos she sent me, and solicitation, like looking for swingers, Friday at 8 p.m., name of the bar, wear pink," the spokesperson said in an email. The company didn't directly comment on concerns the new policy was too broad and might prohibit people from engaging in dirty talk on the site. But Facebook said it crafted the new rules with input from third-party organizations that specialize in women's and children's safety issues. So there you have it, the new rules in place as of now on Facebook. Looking for somewhere else to go? Well, I'd recommend you check out some of the decentralized options like the new Mastodon platform. I say new, it's probably been around for a year or two at this point. Free Talk Live jumped on board over at Mastodon. Now, it's not exactly doing what Facebook does. Mastodon is more of a knockoff of Twitter, but it is decentralized, and therefore each Mastodon instance that runs gets to set its own rules. So the swingers can have their own Mastodon, and there's nothing you can say or do about it. You don't have to join it.
Well, you could make lots of new friends by just going to discord.freetalklive.com, signing up there. And
sure, but that's a live chat service. It's not exactly the same.
It's not the same.
You can do things that there are some Facebook kind of alternatives out there, but I don't know if they're any good. I'm not sure which one of them are the best. But as far as social media is concerned, Mastodon's great. It allows you to share a thing you're doing, share a photo that you want to share. People can follow you. And here's the best part. The people that follow you actually see the things that you post on Mastodon. Unlike Facebook, where only like 1% of your people that follow you or your friends will actually see your posts. So check out our Mastodon by going to toot.freetalklive.com. And if you're still on Twitter and you want to follow us there, we're over at twitter.freetalklive.com. We got more coming up. Enough time for you. If you get on the lines with us now, it's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite. Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com. DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. We have enough time for you. If you dial in right now, we can get you on the air with us. It's Ian.
And Mark.
The toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're a Free Talk Live amplifier, we will, and you've opted in, because by default you're anonymous if you join us over at amp.freetalklive.com for $5 a month. You can opt in, and we will mention you on the air. We're going through our whole list here of Free Talk Live amplifiers, which there's just under 200 of them at the moment. So thank you to all of you who amp the show currently, especially including, and this was going to be a tough one for me to say on the air because of the name. No, it's spelled no BLSHT. So I don't feel like I should try to pronounce that particular word.
Yeah.
It's not profane, but I shouldn't try to pronounce that. But thank you to no BLSHT. Who is a Free Talk Live Silver amplifier, meaning he or she gives $5 per month to the show to help us support getting the ideas of liberty out there, getting on more radio stations. Join the AMP program at amp.freetalklive.com, like that person did. ampamp.freetalklive.com, PayPal, credit card, and Bitcoin BTC. In fact, somebody today just did a 12-month prepaid Bitcoin amp.
Sweet.
So thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to the phones to Turd Ferguson on our Discord on-air call-in line room. Go ahead, Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, hi guys.
Hey.
It's your good old friend Turd Ferguson here. So I got this article that actually came out, I guess it was last week. But I don't know if you heard, and by the way, this was from the Free Thought Project's Facebook, their new Facebook page, because their old one was deleted.
They got shut down in the Facebook purge over the summer.
That's right, by the Zuckerberg police. That's correct. But last week they released an article though during the whole media frenzy after George H.W. died, and this article is actually called "5 Stories the Media Missed While Obsessing Over the Bush Funeral." But the number 3 specifically was the federal government acknowledged the possibility that explosives were used to destroy WTC's, the World Trade Centers, on 9/11. And
What?
that's
Who acknowledged this?
the federal government did.
Okay.
So
What part of the federal government?
Well, it doesn't say here. It just says the federal government. But there's a lawyers committee for 9/11 Truth that submitted some sort of memo to the federal government, which I mean the law that they used to justify it. Basically, they had them in a vice grip, so they had to do it. But now they get to go in front of a grand jury and present this evidence that explosives were in fact used to bring down the World Trade Centers. Who the grand jury would indict in this? It doesn't say that. Obviously, it doesn't mention any names.
Okay, interesting.
Should be interesting to find out, but I can tell you if the grand jury doesn't indict, that will not put this issue to rest.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah.
All right. What was the other story that was ignored?
Well, there's actually, there's 5 of them, but there's also Jeffrey Epstein was exposed again, the billionaire pedophile. And then that got swept under the rug.
This was the guy. It's funny that you mentioned him. Literally during the last break, I think it was during the last break.
Yeah.
That very same subject came up about this Epstein guy, and somebody called in recently about him. It was years ago that he was brought up on charges for running. The allegations were that he was running some sort of airliner that Bill Clinton and other highfalutin so-called important people were flying on and ostensibly having sex with underage prostitutes, basically.
Yep, that's correct.
Well, what's the news in that story? What's the latest development there?
So it says that Epstein's ties to the past administrations as well as the current one were laid out for the world to see instead of ignoring it like they usually do this time. Mainstream media outlets like CNN picked up the story and ran with it. Even the royal family's ties to billionaire pedophile was covered in the media. And then it goes on to say that people have been attempting to hold Epstein accountable for these crimes for decades, and then I guess another one recently came forward. Another 14 or 15-year-old here came forward and said that it happened to her again. And it's interesting because they say that
wait. Somebody who's 14 or 15 today, or somebody who was 14 or 15 back when the things were going on?
No. Well, yeah, that information isn't there, but there was one that came out recently that said that they had been molested by Jeffrey Epstein. And then there was also talk in another article about him, and I don't know if this was part of this, but there is a plane that Bill Clinton, that gets on this plane and it goes to this island or something where all these child molesters are, and they molest all these children. And that was mentioned in the same article, and I'm not sure if that young lady happened to be on that plane or not. But of course,
that's what all these allegations are about. Is at least that we've talked about in the past. Is they called the plane Lolita Express, and ostensibly these girls were kept on that plane to some extent, or employed on the plane, or whatever this arrangement was,
right?
And to service people like the alleged visiting Bill Clinton, who apparently was on the itinerary or the passenger manifest or something like that at some point.
That's right, and Donald Trump as well. And then they also
Trump was on there, huh? Is that so? That's like the recent news was that Trump wrote this thing.
I don't think he was on there, but Trump knew that, Trump allegedly knew something about Jeffrey Epstein's behavior and all this, allegedly.
Turd, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. A couple of stories there he says people missed out on because the news media was obsessing over a funeral of some politician. Let's go to Sarah in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live, or I should say a funeral of a liar and a thief, because that's what politicians are. Go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, I just want to mention the non-sexual. They're reconstructing the intersection here, and they're making the corners like raised up. Putting concrete, so the cars just can't run over a pedestrian in the corner.
So they're putting up a barrier?
A lot of pedestrians getting hit on street corners?
No. What they're redesigning the curb. So
Okay.
it used to be like real flat, like the car could like roll over the corners.
Mm-hmm.
What they're doing is they're raising up like the curb,
Yeah.
and with a little opening.
For
And,
wheelchairs.
supposedly, I don't know. It's supposed to like block the car from running over like a flat corner.
Okay.
So it's like a little curve, and they're doing all this.
You sure they're doing that to protect pedestrians as opposed to, say, stop cars from having their tires popped by running up on a sharp curve?
I think it was meant to help the pedestrians, like to
But that's
block
not what
them.
anyone said. That's just your speculation on this new device.
Right? Why they're putting concrete like a curb, like a foot over? So why are they doing it? You know what I mean? So
Well,
that's
that's
It's
one
a breakthrough in curb technology, Sarah.
That's one speculative reason. I don't know if that's the reason because, as we've pointed out before, the pedestrians who tend to get hit, I think Daryl did some research on it. He found that it was like almost 70%, if I recall correctly, are being hit because they're drunk and likely stumbling out into the road. So it's not that cars are running up on curbs or running down sidewalks, just blasting through people that are walking there. It's that the people who are, drinking themselves to death are stumbling from one point to another, and then sometimes they just stumble right out into the street, right in front of an oncoming car, too close to where the driver can react in time, and you get a dead pedestrian.
Yeah, I had sadly, a place where I used to work had too much alcohol one night, passed out while...
Was it the radio station?
No.
Okay.
This was at a magazine.
Okay.
Passed out in his neighbor's driveway while leaning on his neighbor's car while he was texting his girlfriend.
Passed out while standing?
No, he was leaning against the car, sitting leaning against the back of the car.
Okay.
And his neighbor comes out in the morning, goes to work early. Oh my God!
So he passed out and was lying beneath essentially the trunk of the car, basically, or just behind the car.
Just behind the car. He gets into his car, doesn't check the back of his car.
Why would you?
Who does? And runs the guy over.
Oh my God!
And kills him. And the police come, and of course, they're like, well, this happens a lot, actually.
Really?
Because, sometimes people drink too much.
Did he get charged, the guy driving?
No. Well, he didn't even, no charge.
Huh.
So you know what? So why are the city engineers, why are they deciding to do this?
You should call them and ask them, Sarah. Thank you for the call tonight. Maybe they will give you the actual reason for it. I'm curious. Now that she brought it up, I am curious, but, we're just going to be able to speculate, and that's about it.
Indeed.
But we'll be back tomorrow night. In fact, we might have a special guest on tomorrow night, Mark. I don't want to spoil it, but it may be somebody who's on the inside of this controversy over vaporizers being banned from possession in certain places.
I'm excited. In the meantime, go to hope.freetalklive.com this holiday season. It's the time to give to charity. hope.freetalklive.com.
See you tomorrow, freetalklive.com. Enjoy your weekend.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to is probably so swamped with applicants that he or she is tough to reach. So call early in the day, before 8 a.m., before the palace guards arrive. You'll need your prospect's direct number, and here's a sneaky way to get it. Suppose the company's main number is 555-5000. You should call 555-5012. When someone says, "Good morning, Pam Johnson," you should innocently say, "Oops, somebody here must have written this down wrong. I was calling for Tom Frederick. What's his direct number?" If the very next thing you hear isn't Pam giving you Tom's number, it may be, "Good morning, Tom Frederick." For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Questioning Authority is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of December 7th through the 9th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.48 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,240 per ounce. Zen is trading at $5, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,408. Antiwar.com reports Yemen's high-profile peace talks in Sweden are set to open, but already look to be on the brink of collapse, with both sides lashing out at one another and Houthi officials openly questioning whether the talks are even serious and worth pursuing. The big stumbling block is that, having finally gotten both sides to the table to discuss a settlement of the multi-year war, the pro-Saudi Hadi government reiterated the same demands they had at the start of the war, insisting that the Houthis unconditionally disarm and cede the city of Hodeidah to them. The Houthis are being a bit more modest in their goals, focusing on trying to get the Sana'a International Airport reopened to civilian traffic. They'd also like Hodeidah to remain open to aid, though that's a matter the UN is already pushing hard for without them. Though every side went into these talks expressing support for a peace process that would end the war, the Hadi government has continued to make it clear their demands are an unconditional victory, and as ever, that is putting a roadblock in front of serious efforts to start making a permanent deal. In 1999, Daryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, "Sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic." Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Daryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. UPI reports dozens of college campuses suddenly